You don't feel behind because you actually are behind. You feel behind because you're comparing your internal processes to other people's highlight reels. And the funny thing about that is, half of these people that you think are ahead of you are just as confused as you are. They're just better at hiding it. The idea of falling behind is a complete illusion. We're comparing our insides, our doubts, our fears, our losses, to other people's outsides, their aesthetic, their wins, their money. And this psychological contrast is what creates the I'm behind feeling. But we have to remember that social media compresses timelines. So you're seeing 10-year journeys in 30-second clips. You're comparing your chapter 2 to other people's chapter 12. Remember, we're living in a timeline that nobody else has lived before. We're not living in the same generation that our parents did. So how can you compare yourself to somebody else who had completely different circumstances than you? Let's remember, AI is changing careers now. We're in a different economy, different expectations, different dating culture, different social pressures. Some examples. Our economy. How is our economy different? Well, our parents' generation, they could buy a house in their 20s. They could support a family off just one income. Nowadays, we're living in sky-high house prices where we almost need a side hustle to survive. And our rent is eating more than half of our income every month. Different social pressures. No other generation has lived with 24/7 comparison to other people's wins and successes. We literally have constant exposure to people winning. Previous generations married younger, had fewer options, and lived locally. Nowadays, we have endless options through apps like Tinder. Career comes before commitment. So, if you're 28 or 32 or whatever, you're not behind. It just means that the culture has shifted. We're living through AI changing industries. There's new careers that didn't even exist 5 years ago. So, you're not behind. You're just adapting in a world that is evolving in real time. Different expectations. We're expected to be emotionally intelligent, financially independent, to travel, to be attractive, to have boundaries, to have a purpose, to be healed. And that is a lot. And the previous generation wasn't carrying that same psychological load. Now, let's talk about invisible progress. Your inner transformation will always come before external results. Remember, nobody can see the inner healing that you're doing, but that is what sets you up for success in the future. So, just because nobody can see it, doesn't mean that it's not happening. And whenever you notice small progress with discipline or anything that you are healing inside of you, whenever you notice that you're winning or you're progressing in those things, reward yourself, because you're not going to have anybody clapping for you because those parts of you are invisible to others. Others can only see what is on the outside of you. You know what is on the inside. So it's very important to celebrate small wins within yourself. These could be things like healing childhood wounds, studying, self-awareness, building discipline, or breaking generational patterns. It's funny because I think that this generation is genuinely focusing on breaking generational patterns. I don't know, I just have this deep feeling within me. I feel like there's never been so many people who are like not having children as early. They're not settling down until they have their career and their mental health fixed first, because they don't want to have the same thing happen to them, to their kids, with the way they were treated by their parents or the things they heard from their parents. It's quite beautiful to see, actually, and I feel like this is the start of a generation. Our generation is the start of positive future. Like, I don't know, I feel like our kids and their kids will be very wise and very emotionally intelligent. I don't know, I just have that feeling. Let's talk about how a shallow understanding of people versus a deep understanding of people makes a huge difference. When you barely know somebody, you see the car, the relationship, the success. But when you know them deeply, you see their anxiety, their debt, their struggles. So the more you come to understand humans, the less you'll idolize them, because you'll come to realize that They're feeling the exact same emotions that you are. They're as worried as you are. They are comparing themselves too. They feel like nothing they ever achieve is good enough. But remember that you're not falling behind, you're falling into place. The lessons that you're learning now, some people won't learn them until divorce, burnout, or breakdown. I read this earlier on and it actually changed me. I'm going to read you out a few things here. Feeling late assumes that there is a schedule. Being shaped assumes there's a design. Late means you missed something. Shaped means something is forming. When people feel behind, what they're actually experiencing is pressure without visible proof of progress. But shaping happens in private. Steel is heated before it's strong. Muscles tear before they grow. Identity breaks before it rebuilds. You're not stalled. You are under construction, and construction is loud, messy, and slow. I want to explain something else. When I said that some people don't deal with these situations or they don't start to heal their inner wounds until divorce, is because what causes many divorces is unhealed attachment patterns, poor communication, lack of boundaries, marrying for validation, not knowing yourself. If you're single and you're working on yourself right now, you might feel behind, but what if it's actually preventing future chaos? Some people learn self-worth after betrayal, but what you're doing is you're learning it now to prevent you being betrayed in the first place. So next time, before you say, I'm behind everybody, turn it into, I'm building depth others may not have yet. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Say, this is preparing me. Pressure builds diamonds. Resistance builds muscle. Loneliness builds self-trust. And silence builds clarity. These are not aesthetic lessons, but they are foundational, and foundations are poured underground. Nobody celebrates a foundation, but without it, the building collapses. Listen to this. Burnout teaches you that you're not productivity. Overworking doesn't equal growth. Hustling without alignment drains you. If you're questioning your path now, or if you're slowing down, if you're redefining success, you may feel like you're falling behind financially or career-wise. But some people only learn that lesson after a panic attack, after health issues, or they might have a breakdown at 40. So you're not behind, you're recalibrating early. Breakdowns teach emotional awareness, the cost of suppression, the importance of healing. If you're doing therapy, journaling, shadow work, inner child healing now, it might feel like, why is everyone else just living and I'm here dissecting my trauma? But some people don't face their inner world until it explodes. You're choosing awareness instead of waiting for collapse, and that is strength. So remember, you're not here to match anybody. You're here to become the person that only you can be. And that's elevation.